Hello and welcome back to my vlog build of a guitar. I'm doing it from scratch and I'm doing, building the entire thing, basically. And in today's video I was thinking we'd design a pickguard for the guitar. I don't have the material to cut it out yet, so we won't be cutting out the pickguard. I hope it will show up soon and we can get going on that. But I want to just want to design a pickguard, try to come up with something cool. I think when I designed the body that I did design, a pickguard as well. And most likely I did a template, but I can't find it. So I think I have a pile of templates that is incomplete, if that makes any sense. Anyway, we're going to freehand it for this one, and I'll show you how I would do it. So if you want to, you can use my process for freehanding a pickguard as a way to maybe freehand a pickguard for yourself. And so yeah, we'll jump into it now and we'll see what happens and all of that. But as I said just a moment ago, we won't be actually cutting a pickguard. So that will be a separate video. So in this we'll just be, trying to come up with a design for a pickguard. Just want to be clear so that you're not disappointed and anything like that. We'll see what happens. Again, this is more of a vlog style thing, so I'm not editing these videos, which I don't know if you like it or if you don't like it, because I'm a little bit ahead of myself in time-wise, so that these videos won't come out until I've already made a lot of them, unfortunately, which maybe is a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe I only get negative comments and therefore it's going to be super hard to push through. But I don't know that yet. So we'll see. We'll have a Q&A at the end and see if anyone has any questions or any ideas they want to share. So yeah. Okay, so I have the guitar body here. I'll move you in and I'll show you it real quick. Here it is. And I've put down some tape on it, as you probably can see. I've also marked out and drilled where the bridge is, which I just did super quickly. I just followed the center line and attached the bridge. And I've already done videos talking about these things, so I thought it was okay for me to sort of skip that, because it was such a small thing and it felt unnecessary. But there I have a bridge. I'm going with the Strat-like bridge because I just kind of like these, and I have this one that is a good one, and I have the other hardware for a black Strat, and it's quality parts that will be good. So yeah, I have the bridge, I have the tape, and the way I've done with the tape is I've put down strips and then overlay them a little bit, like somewhere between half and a third, and then also crisscrossed some pieces of tape like this. And the reason is not because I don't have tape that is thick enough. I mean I don't, but I mean you can always buy that. But the reason why is because it's stiffening it all up a little bit, so when I go to pull this off, hopefully I'll be able to keep it in one part. And so yeah, we'll draw this out and then we'll try to transfer it over to some paper, and hopefully that will be all good. So yeah, first thing I want to do is just take 2 screws and just attach this bridge right here, so we know exactly where it is. So I'll see if I can find some tiny little screws, just 2 small little screws that can help me out. So I'm just taking these tiny little pickguard screws and I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna attach them. And as you can see, I've put on more tape than I most likely will need to, but that's because I wanna make sure I get the design I want to. I don't want to have to sit here and add tape. I want to just draw everything out and basically get this done. So I'm gonna try a thing because I've screwed into the wall a hanger, so I'm gonna try to see if I can hang you up on the wall and maybe get a better view for you. So hopefully that will work. But now the bridge is in place, and this is what the body looks like. I don't think we're gonna have the pickguard go around the bridge or something. I think we're gonna do something that is maybe a little Strat inspired or something, or Jazzmaster inspired, or whatever. We'll see what it is we come up with, but I want to give it some time, and I want to just focus on it for a little bit. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm gonna move the camera over there, so give me a sec. Alright, so here is the body now. The thing that I had made to put it into the wall, the camera, didn't work. So we're trying this as a little bit more ghetto. And the camera is it's tilted a little bit, so the angle is like this and not straightforward. Maybe I'm just confusing you by telling you that, but if it looks off for you, it's going to be because of that. Because the body is being tilted because the camera is tilting instead of dead on up ahead. But I can't fix that, at least not without stopping the whole process of everything I'm doing and trying to redo it. But yeah, here is the guitar body. And yeah, right, so the clamp here is just to hold it still so that it stays in frame, but it's not necessary, especially not if you are doing this without recording a video. I'm gonna circle around the body like this first to try to get some sort of edge. We'll have to see what I do with that. I'll take this off for now, just because it's in the way, but I'll clamp it back down real soon. So there we have it. That looks, yeah, maybe we can continue that up here as well. And we'll see how we do about that. There are a couple of things that are good with designing a pickguard yourself that you have to keep, or at least try to keep track of. And it's that it should fit together with the guitar in some way. It depends on what sort of look you're going for. And since I think I'm going with some sort of classic design, I'll see if I can find something. Here's a piece of binding. Oh, pencil broke on me. Crappy pencil. Yeah, since I'm going with some sort of classic design, I kind of want the pickguard to flow in the same sort of way as the design of the body. If I was doing something that maybe was feeling a little bit retro and fused a wrist stick or something like that, I might take a different approach and make the pickguard maybe go in an opposite direction or have a very different flow from the rest. Like, for example, I could make a pickguard that is just like a square triangle thing right here. I mean, that would be big enough or something, you know, to cover my pickguard pickups or something. But you know, or I could make 2 pickguards or 3. You know, like I could try to separate, you know, some sort of design. I'm going to use this as a spacer. Just fill in these around here and work towards having a little bit space before the before the bridge, so that it's not immediately touching it, because I kind of like that. And then we're gonna have some controls here, you know, something like that. Not exactly, but you know, so it can be nice to sort of I start off by freehand drawing just to get a sort of idea. Like, I kind of like that. That looks kind of interesting, but maybe I don't want that. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too much. And I think I'm gonna take this in a little bit. This curve come in and make it a little bit bigger. And flatten it out. And have it come down here, maybe. And then I think this needs to come in from the end and sort of trail off like so. Maybe. Do I have an eraser is the question. Because to be honest, oh wait, I did. I was just about to say I most likely don't have one, but I actually did have one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like this in your life, but in mine, erasers are always disappearing. You buy a pack of 20, next day you only have one left, and you didn't even open the package because you bought them for the next day when you were going to do something, or you can't find it. Now, I don't necessarily recommend sitting here and freehand drawing like I'm doing right now. It's just that I kind of got a little bit inspired. And I think this one needs to come in a little bit more and work its way. And you get an eye for it, for what looks nice and what looks good. And you also get it becomes like second nature to you when you're designing things, to see the right curves. But then there are things like the golden rule, or whatever it's called, whatever it is, everything is split by a third or something. But now we have the issue that even though I like this, what do I do here? I could do something like, for example, I could split this like we did on Mikey and have this one go in and come back out like this. But do I really want to make another guitar that has the same feel to it? And this is already too much like that. So I need to go back here and rethink this a little bit. And I think that, for example, since my hand is going to rub up against here, I think I want to give myself maybe some more space. So if I go in here and redraw this using my finger, I can sort of realign it. And the only thing I'm doing here is I'm letting this finger run along the edge with the pen, and then I'm slowly pushing away as I'm redrawing it. So I'm getting these lines in here, but I am slowly removing them. And maybe that's nice, I don't know. Let's remove this old one. A good thing is to you know, draw and redraw, and that's what we're doing here. Just trying to come up with something. I think I like that, but I think it needs to come further in, actually. Because I feel like maybe just going back and forth slowly. Maybe something like that. I'm not going to scoop this area like a Paul Reed-Smith guitar, because I kind of like the look of it being flat like this, and I have such huge hands that none of this is, it doesn't really matter to me if I scoop it or not. But if you want to scoop it, then definitely, maybe you even do that before you decide maybe even do that before you decide whether or not to do the pickguard. Like I have this right here, for example. So I don't know. Just a thought. I mean, I feel like this should follow up here, and then it should come to some sort of end here, and be brought back down. And it is nice, because the pickups are going to go in here, it is nice to make that a little bit bulky. Like if I end it right here, we might have an issue with the button of the... So yeah, something like that. I don't think so. I think I might need more tape. Actually, I might need to put down... Oh, my hand, I hit the... But I don't know, I like this. I really do. But it's not matching that. And also this is not looking the way I think I want it to look. You can do other things, like we can move in here, for example. And try to slim it back down. Did this on Mikey, for example, if you guys remember, or if you've seen those videos. That could really change the feel and the look of it, and give it that slimmer appearance if that's what you want, or give it a feeling of being more figured or something than it actually is. So I don't know. Kind of like that, but I also kind of feel like it's a little... I think it's a little bit too much. I think this needs to go. It is a nice, cool line, but I've already done a guitar with that. And I've also already... I've already experimented with something like that. That is wasn't very interesting. I'm gonna add a little bit more tape up here. Something like that, maybe. Do I have it? There it is. I'll cut this off immediately. Add this back like so. Yeah, because I just think that that would be better. I don't know how big of a pickguard I want to make, but I have made sure that I have enough material for it, so I didn't buy a small sheet, I bought an extra big one. Of black pearl, if you're interested to know. I don't think it matters, but there you go. Or now you know. It also, these two are sort of in line, so if I add back the can I add back the central lining? Can I see it through? I think it's there. And then I can look with my square maybe. sort of in line, so that could be a thing. Because that will change the look of things, you know, if this line here if it works together with the guitar or not. I don't know. I'm not gonna have a switch up here or anything, so if I put the pickguard up here, you know, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Roughly, kind of like the idea of having it go something like that. Work with the lines of the body that already exist, you know? Maybe something like that. Sorry if I'm in the way. I'm just doing the... I'm gonna move this a little bit, just... I'm sorry if I'm in the way again, because I realize that... But it's really hard to film with the body, with the camera on top of you. Just trying to find the flow. You will find your flow when you go rowboat. You know? And it's just because, if you wonder why I'm thickening it up a little bit here, right there, like so, it's just so that I can have a screw there. If I add it back in like this, so like a screw here. You have to make room for those sorts of things, you know. Obviously we don't necessarily maybe need one right there, but it's a good idea maybe. I'm gonna move around the body a little bit for both our sake. So you get to see it from a different angle, and I get to see it from a different angle and see if I maybe missed something. So yeah. I feel like if these two lines are parallel to each other, but this one trails off, then maybe I should have the lines. Maybe I should have this curve here, do something else. I don't know. I don't know. I know some of you might think this is not a you know, trick. I'm not showing you how to the one way to do a pickguard that will always show you how to do it perfectly. I'm sort of just drawing until I get something I like. And I can understand if some of you might be disappointed and think, hey, dude, I don't need a video where you are just, you know, drawing. I wanted some expertise or some sort of realization of how to make it look good or whatever. I don't know. And I'm sorry if that's the case, but I don't really have any shortcuts for you. You sort of just have to try to find things that go together and that flows together nicely and that looks like they make sense to you. But for example, that there, down here, maybe I want to push it back a little bit, and maybe I want to bring this in, you know? To try to find some lines that work for me. The movement of my arm. We could have this go up into a point like this. For example, I don't know. Here we have it. At the moment, I'm not happy, which you might be obvious to you, and I think the reason why is because things are not going together in a way that feels organic. You know, this part here is fine on its own. This here, I think, needs to go. Honestly, I think it's good if the pickguard for the most part is going directly together with the body down here. It's sort of the standard classic thing. I mean, I already think that looks better. I think I'm not super happy with this. I think it makes it look clunky. And maybe it's just this that needs to come back in. You know, like, maybe it really should be in here. I mean, I don't have any plans for adding weird stuff to this guitar that, you know, we can do one thing. We can take our template and we can, for example, we can try to align this and see what happens if we, for example, if we do something like that, example. And we maybe we'll try to round this off a little bit more. You know? Something like that, maybe. do you guys think? I'll show it to you a little bit more. I'm not super happy because I feel like it's there's something wrong. Something's not looking right. Maybe it's this part here. Maybe I need I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work. I have a very complicated shape to work with because it's an upside down body, but I kind of want to make it not look weird and clunky. And with this part here, it should have something going down here, you know, for the controls, but the controls are going to be here. So, yeah. Maybe it should continue here, you know, and then somehow have a more straight contact down, you know, more like a Strat or something. I don't know, but I need to somehow move it around a little bit. Try and find the flow. I think some curve to it and some flowness to it is the key, because I think it's a blend between a Stratocaster and a Explorer, but the Explorer is a more sharp guitar while this is a more gentle. I think this looks a lot better right now, for example, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really happy. And I think this needs a little bit of work. I'm gonna redraw this. Get back to square one. Something like that. Maybe we'll put the controls here, for example. That, I don't think that was better. Yeah, there's something off. Something is off. If I put this here, for example, because I was thinking I'd have one of these, just because that's like the best part of the Strat, that it's... So what if I put that there? Does that look better? I don't know if it does. I don't think it does. I think I've... Maybe something like that instead. You know, having this trail off instead of trailing out. You could just sort of... And we could have our tone, not... I mean, we could have our volume, tone and distortion controls there, and then we could have like 3 pickups selectors down there or something. That could be cool, maybe. I think maybe... I think I like this. I think I like this more, actually. I think I just need to push it in a little bit, all in all, so... I hope this is interesting and that you're getting something out of this. I realize that maybe, but it's about finding the curves that goes together with what you want the guitar to sort of say. I think I like that more. Yes. And maybe we'll do the same thing here. Maybe we'll push this one in a bit. Like so. But have it come back out. You know, sort of to create that little... something like that. I don't think so, actually. I think we're gonna re... And also, one thing that maybe, I mean, one advice I have, maybe, or whatever you want to call it, do try to draw lightly. Try to really not make it hard for yourself to erase it. Sorry, I have too many thoughts in my head right now to speak. Yeah, I think this needs something. I don't know what though. Yeah, I think that's what it needs. It needs that feeling of a curve that is happening. That it was too straightforward. I think we're onto something now. Now we're cooking with David Bowie, and he's cooking with gasoline. Yeah, that didn't make sense because he's not cooking with gasoline, he's putting out fires with gasoline. Sorry, that probably was loud in your ears. I don't know what happened, I just screwed the pooch on it. I'm gonna take a break. Okay, so here is the body now, and yeah. I actually took a Stratocaster pickguard and I followed that, and I thought that maybe that, because this goes up, so maybe making that go up just a little bit because this goes up makes this transition a little bit more, so it's like a line there, but there is a raceness to it, and then I pulled this back in again. And I think I'm done. I need to take a look at it a little bit more and just make sure I'm on 100% sure. But I think I'm done. Or at least I'm done for now. So I'm gonna quickly, because I sort of designed this around having this here, so I sort of made sure that they seemed like they fit, because that's another part you have to think about, like the other parts that are going on the guitar. So I have this here. I think I have a razor blade somewhere, but let's get a new one. I always end up losing all my razor blades. Let's try to score here without cutting too much into it. And then here as well. Something like that. And then let's take this bridge off. And these screws are not going into it. It was just there to hold it in place while I was being creative. And then, come on, we'll take this one out as well. Obviously, need to remove the bridge, take all the screws out. Something like that. I can put these back here, out of sight, out of mind. And we'll cut this down like so. So hopefully when we lift this, that part will stay. We can quickly just... I know I'm cutting into the body, but it's such a small amount and I haven't even done a basic sanding on this or anything, so I'm not too worried. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because fiddling around with too much tape will create an issue for me. So yeah, cutting that off, cutting this off. Come on, don't fall over. So, and then this as well. And I'm being as careful as I can to make sure I don't cut deep into the body, because obviously the blade is cutting through the tape and it might cut into the body as well, but I want to just make sure that if that happens and it cuts into the body, it's such a small amount that it basically will be like nothing once I sand this guitar. And I mean, you can't feel it, but it's very, very rough. So yeah, I'll take it all real quick, or maybe I won't, but there it is. And I'll just make a mark here and here, and I'll measure that out, and then we'll route that as well, but not right now. Let's see if we can get in here as well. Okay, and here we also have a little bit of, that could be an issue because we have the round over, so let's just cut pretty close. I try to cut a little bit away from it, but yeah, still enough so we don't have any strangling gling parts straggling away from us. Something like that. Whew. It feels like it's been a long day, but it's just morning. Or late morning, maybe I should say. Early noon. I mean, I suppose it also depends on where you are. When you're watching this, you might be somewhere different than where I am. Who knows? No one knows. And again, the reason why I'm cutting away all of this and I'm trying to make it look neat and have nothing that is sort of sticking out like ripped tape or anything is because when we're gonna lift this off, and I want to lift it off in one big piece, and I want it to be nice, and I want it to be good, and I want it to work as well as it can. It might get a little bit fiddly, but at least let's try it. Okay, I need to go and get a paper or two for this, so be right back. Alright, so here I have 2 regular papers for a printer, you know, A for whatever they're called, something like that. Let's see if we can get this off. I want to quickly, let me just do this, because it's a good idea before I forget it. Here I have the center line on the body. Let's just add it to this template. There we go. Because we're gonna have to move that template, that center line from the template to the pickguard material and then back to the body and all it. And we need it for routing the pickups and all that, which I still haven't figured out how to do. I mean, I know how to route, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, because I can see issues occurring with the slanted pickup, the humbucker, and I'm not 100% sure that I have a good plan for counter-measuring this pickguard slanty humbucker thing. So I'm just going to pull this off carefully to get all right. And just leave it around. We'll go from all directions so we don't get any tear outs. Now we don't want the paper to break. There we go. And now I'll just need a flat surface, which I don't think I have. Wait, if I put this away and I put this, which I think is at least somewhat flat, and then I put these papers down. And I put these, it doesn't have to be perfect. but if I can put them as close to each other as possible, that'd be nice. And I'll just stick this down in the middle and just sort of press it out in all directions like this. And now we've made the template. You can see how it's coming along on the body. And we'll have to go back and forth a little bit and make sure everything works the way we want, but we can at least cut this out. But I'm not going to cut to the lines that I've drawn, I'm going to cut to the tape. So I get a rough cutout that I can use. Because now I have the general shape. And of my pickguard. And if I want to change something, something small, a minor little detail that I maybe think would be good to change, and I still have the option of doing so, and we'll take a look at it real soon. I'm just gonna try to get this out. Something like that, and I'll just make sure everything is sticking, something like that. So there we have it. That's the pickguard in its somewhat final form, and we can remove this one because it's, I don't want to cut into it. And we can just try to at least. And we might have to modify this a little bit because the overhang, this is the shape of the body where the neck meets, but the neck actually itself has this little overhang thing. So it will be over like something like that, you know? We'll have to take a look at that later. But yeah, it's pretty good. Now we can come in here and we can start working on finalizing these shapes and drawing them out and trying to make them look more permanent, and so that they have the right flow and that we know exactly where we're gonna cut. And yeah. Something like that. But I'm gonna take a break. I think I'm done. We have an outpost, an outline, something, and I want to just go back and forth and finalize it and just take my time with it for a little bit. And also, I don't think you need to see me sit here and wonder about it. I'm just gonna sort of try to figure it out. and I'll be back once I have it. I mean, I won't be back because I think this is the end. But we'll jump into the Q&A and we'll see if you guys have anything interesting on your mind. I'll ask you. But you can see here how I can, and I can go back with an even sharper, like a ball point pen or something, and I can really finalize the shape and take some measurements. There are other ways to make pickguards as well. Like for example, you could use something called the French curve, which is a clothing design tool, but it's actually a really nice thing with curves and a lot of shapes in it, and so you could use that to help you design things and make sure all the curves are right. But again, it very much is about what sort of design you have in mind and what kind of feel you have going. If you wanna make your pickguard give the vibe of being an old guitar or a classic design or retro, parallel universe feel or whatever, So yeah, there we have it. I hope this was good or great or awesome or at least somewhat inspiring, or that you just enjoyed watching it to get something out of it. So yeah. So bye.